Hey YouTubers, Chef Todd back again. It's been a while. My last video was in January this year, so 11 months ago. I did the deep dish pizza, so I hope you enjoyed that. Got another series coming. I'm gonna call this one the soup series. So I'm gonna do 3 different soups. First one tonight, it's gonna be French onion, which is a very simple dish. Number 2 will be a clam chowder. I'll do that probably in a couple weeks, and then a third one to be determined. But if you have suggestions, please let me know. So today we're gonna do a French onion soup. Very simple. I have basically 3 or 4 ingredients. I have 3 medium onions, salt and pepper. I have 2.5 quarts of beef broth. I'm not sure if I'll use all of it, but we'll just see how it goes in the stock pot when I'm cooking. And then there's a secret ingredient. Never tried this before, but I think it'll turn out well. So stay tuned and we'll show you what that is. So, all right, let's get chopping and then we'll get cooking. Thanks. Okay, I cleaned my onions. I put them in halves, so they're 6 halves. One thing you want to do when you're making a French onion is you're not doing a dice. You just want to chop these rough. So I'm going to cut these in half and then kind of cut them in quarters. You're better off having big chunks better than little chunks. So just like that, it's a good, probably $half size pieces. Because you're really going to cook these down in the stock pot. And if you dice them up too much, they're just going to disintegrate and there'll be really no onion left. It'll just dissolve in the broth. So again, you just want a rough chop, nothing fancy. So we'll finish these off and then we'll move over to the cooktop. All right, you can see I got my onions chopped. If you're someone who wants to know a measurement, I really don't cook by measurements, by cups or tablespoons of that, but some people like to ask, so I'll give you some references. This is a 2-cup measuring cup, so these are rough chopped onions, so that's 2 cups. So this is gonna end up being about, I'd call it 3 cups of rough onion chopped. There's a lot of volume in this measuring cup. That's not true measure, so 3 cups of chopped onions. Don't lose the loose ones, and get those in a bowl, and we'll move over to the cooktop and get these cooking down. All right, I moved over to the cooktop. Hopefully the angle looks good. I am filming on my newer iPad, so hopefully the quality's a little better. And so we got, again, a bowl of chopped onions. Got my, this is a 6-quart stock pot, if you're curious, but good size, don't want to go too small. So we're going to start with a medium flame and get that to temperature. And what you want to do is you just want to cook these down very slowly. So I'm going to start with a little oil. This is canola oil. I don't recommend olive oil in this. Olive oil is kind of a little bit of a pungent flavor and it can tend to burn if you overcook it. So you don't want to ruin the flavor of the soup. So we'll get this up to temperature, add our onions, and start cooking. All right, the oil is heating up. Again, that's about 2 tablespoons of oil. That's all you need to start with. You don't want to start with too much oil. I'm going to add my onions, and we'll get these cooking down. And it'll take a while. What we're trying to do here, we're just going to sweat the onions. Maybe you can hear it start to sizzle. That's what I want to hear. But you don't want to char them or cook them down too much. So this will probably take a good half hour. It's 12:30 here. So I got some football and golf on, so it's a good Sunday dish. So again, let these cook down. Stir them every 2 or 3 minutes. Don't let them burn. And, it takes some TLC. So we'll be back. All right, you can start to hear the sizzle, and they're starting to sweat and break down a bit. That's what you want. You don't want the heat too high, so make sure you're actually, once the pot gets up to heat, turn down the heat so you control it. Don't want to overcook these or burn them. So again, probably another at least 20-30 minutes. These are really going to sweat down and cook. So I also recommend I turn it off for the video so it doesn't screw up the audio, but run your hood vent. These are powerful onions and they stink up your whole house or kitchen. So running the hood vent helps, extract that scent from the house. All right, they've been going for about 10 minutes, the onion, and you can see they're really starting to break down. Again, those cook down probably by half the volume. Once we get there, they're probably close to halfway. We need a little bit more. Actually, add a little bit more oil to it because I don't want it to be too dry. One thing I'm going to add later is a little bit of butter. This is about 2 tablespoons of butter, but I don't want to add it right now because I don't want to burn the butter or we'll ruin the soup, but the butter will give it extra body and flavor. So again, keep a lid on. It helps the onions break down, cook faster, so keep going. All right, the onions continue to cook, and you know, you can see they're getting clear, but you want to cook them down even more. You want to caramelize them, not burn them. There's a short window between caramelizing and burnt onions, so make sure you keep stirring. And at this point, I'm going to add my butter. These are cooked down enough, so I just want to add the butter, get some good fat flavor in there, and that'll help these cook down more. All right, we've been cooking with the butter for about 5 minutes, and it really took it to the next gear. It's really starting to cook down better with the extra fat. The onions they're starting to get clear, but you want them a little bit brown. Again, you want to caramelize. We're not burning these, so we want to start seeing a little bit of brown in the onion before we add any extra the broth or water. I mean, I'm stirring every 20-30 seconds so I don't burn the butter. I would liken this to making a roux. If you watch some of my gumbo videos, if you burn the roux, you're going to ruin the dish. If you burn the butter, you're going to ruin the French onion soup. So keep an eye on it. We're getting close to adding our stock, so we'll be back. All right, ready for the next steps. These have been, again, half-hour cooking. These are cooked down quite a bit, less than half of the original volume. If you tasted it right now, which I just did, they're very sweet, which is what you want, which means you've caramelized the sugars. I'm not sure if you can, again, the video shows it, but there's a little bit of brown showing up, so that's what I want. So at this point, next steps are going to start adding our stock and cooking the base of the soup. But I'm going to start with a little bit of water. Again, I don't know, that was probably a quart. I'm going to turn up the heat. Again, when I bring this to a simmer. And now is the big surprise, the reveal of the secret ingredient. I haven't done this before, but I think it's going to turn out good. So what I have here is a steak bone. I went to a steakhouse a few weeks ago. This was in the freezer. It's from a ribeye. It's got a little bit of meat and actually it's still a little bit of medium rare beef on there. I'm actually going to put that in the stock. Again, you're making a beef broth soup, French onion. So I think that'll be a good flavor enhancer. So I'm going to cover this up, bring it up to a simmer, and then we'll start adding the rest of the ingredients. All right, I've been simmering just the water, the onions, and again, the steak bone I put in. It's actually starting to turn a little beefy color, broth, and the little bits of meat are starting to fall off the bone. I'm telling you, this is going to be a money secret ingredient. That was a nice steak bone in the broth. So at this point, I'm going to add my beef stock. Again, I have 2.5 quarts. I'm not sure if I'm going to add all that, but we'll start with first the half. I recommend getting a good quality beef stock. I'm not brand particular, but this is College Inn. So again, I want to go cheap stuff. So that was, again, I'm going to start with 1.5 quarts. And then we'll let it cook down. I have another full quart I'm back up to add as we go. So all right, we've been simmering for about 20-30 minutes. I'm gonna check on it, and wow, when I take that lid off, it really getting the smell of the soup now. I want to cook a little bit more. You can still see the onion's a little bit white. So I probably could have cooked them a little extra water, but they'll cook down more in the broth. We got the bone in here. Actually, kind of a bonus. The bone, had some meat on it starting to fall off, so we'll probably get some chunks of steak in our French onion soup. Not your typical French onion, but I think it'll be good. My preference, you don't have to do it, but a little extra beef, kind of like a enhancer is good. But I'll tell you what, I can smell the French onions starting to come together. So cover it up, and we'll give another 20-30 minutes. We'll check on it again. Cheers. All right, I figured while we're waiting on the soup, I'd do a little intermission and reveal my little herb garden I got going in my kitchen. To the left is parsley, on the right is basil. In the middle, I got some new seeds I just planted, thyme and parsley. For some reason, looking okay. They tend to struggle. I'm not a green thumb, so I'm not sure what the issue is. But this underneath, I bought on Amazon, is a little heating pad to help the seedlings grow, I was told, or researched. And It's cold here in Michigan in the winter, so it helps things grow indoors, and I think it's helping the parsley. So anyway, I'll give you updates on my herb garden to see how that's going. It's really cooked down. I just gave it a taste. Strong beef flavor. I think I want to do next steps at this point. So first, I want to take that bone out. Certainly extracted all the flavor at this point, so get that out of there. Just a little bit of steak left on there. And then I think what I want to do is I'm going to be done for the day. I'm going to season it right now. I have a few flakes of parsley. I cut off the parsley garden. Could use a little bit more, but a little bit of color. Again, so basically the soup is done at this point. Beef broth, onion, and I'm going to just season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Just probably, half tablespoon of salt, fresh black pepper, a little bit extra in the residual, and that's it. All right, back. I'm actually a little hungry, so I want to make a snack. So I'm going to do the finishing steps for the French onion. So it's been simmering on the back of the stove, heated up again. I got a nice sturdy, crock pot or hearty soup cup because I'm gonna put this under the broiler. The broiler's on in the oven, heating up. So again, we're just gonna ladle in our soup. And I didn't add any extra salt and pepper. You can always do that as needed when you serve it. So that's the soup. Now we gotta add the other ingredients. All right, finishing touches are croutons. I have a few croutons. They're just store-bought. And then cheese. So you do any kind of cheese you have or prefer, provolone, Swiss, or mozzarella. In this case, I have Swiss cheese. So I got a nice slice of Swiss, goes right on top. And then finishing touches, hit it with some Parmesan, and that'll brown up under the broiler. All right, into the broiler, and we'll come out nice and bubbly. All right, it's out of the oven, and here is the reveal. There you go. That, my friends, is a nice bowl of French onion soup. I'm gonna eat this and enjoy it. I'm gonna post this video. Enjoy cooking, enjoy life. Happy holidays to all. Cheers.